Hey, stay Steve, please like and subscribe. Please click on the Deck Heroes icon, click on subscribe, 100% free. Well, apart from Blood in, Blood out. Anyway, this is a continuation of the best commanders in ROK, Rise of Kingdoms 2024. It's currently August in sort of sunny London. Anyway, let's get to it. I already mentioned this guy. What did I say? I predicted RPG Risen. We're number one. I logged in. I woke up quite early. It's about 5, 6 o'clock in the morning UK time, which means about 7 o'clock UTC. Number one. By the time I logged in, I was like 1,000. So I had to come all the way in to thankfully 26. I probably spent about 500 gems, maybe 650, something like that. Anyway, I'm not sure. I wasn't counting. It's quite cheap to start off with, so yeah, probably about 500 gems to get to from 1,000 or 950, whatever it was, up to where I am now. I think about 4 or 5 gem packages, whatever it was. You know what I mean? In order to do an additional battle beyond the free 5. So here I am in 26. But anyway, best practice. Who are the commanders that you should be investing in? Beyond all the theory. All right, so we got we're in KVK. So these are the whales of many communities, right? We know about RPG Risen, Nevsky, Joan, Trajan, Mulan, Huan Yu, otherwise known as Guan Yu, Scipio 1, ZL, Herman Prime, and Luce and Constantine. Okay, so our whale RPG Rising in the best kingdom. Let me just show you my kingdom quickly, just in case any fighters out there want to fight. I mean, like with us, not against. That would be bad. Right, so this is us, man. 1150 basically. We are 1150. We've only just started the cover K. There we are, bottom right, 1150. Yeah, wind basically on the right side of wind. Anyway, that is that. So we're at the tippity top of the top. Let's see what everybody else, the other whales of other kingdoms, what commanders they're choosing. Exactly the same. Okay, what about the number 3 guy? Exactly the same. Number 4 guy, creating this picture, exactly the same. So listen, when I watch other videos and they're trying to convince you to invest in, let's just take William Wallace. They're coming out with all these reasons, this reason, that reason. It's all just theories. You know what I mean? Everybody's entitled to opinion, like the saying. Everybody's got a pee hole. You know what I mean? A bit like theories, everybody's got one. And then there's the facts, right? There's the theory, and then there's the fact. This guy's in our kingdom as well, Mali, amazing, ridiculously strong, powerful player. Exactly the same commanders. I think I made the mistake of saying the top 5. Obviously, this is the top 10 commanders because they work well together. Okay, so obviously you're not going to choose these necessarily for, I'm ignoring Nevsky a little bit, for rallies and things like that against the fort. You're definitely not going to rally them top end against the city or, you know what I mean, or against the pass with the state-of-the-art commanders. And by the way, Scipio 2 did very well in testing, I've been told. But anyway, for the purpose of what you want to use them for, if it's PvP, player versus player, the top guys are just showing you. They're showing what you need to do. There, look, I've just noticed just above Huan Yu's head, 1150. Yeah, man. Yeah, boy. Look at this guy. Exactly the same. Exactly the same. Number 7. Oh, got our glass cannon. I'm not really a massive fan of Hualga Bing. I usually forget his names. I'm actually quite impressed with myself. I'm not the massive fan because I like his rage and I like that early aggression that he brings. but I don't like him because past is it 15 seconds or 20 seconds, whatever it is. That rage buff turns into something else, and all that damage buff. I can't remember what it is. Anyway, glass cannon. There's nothing there to support him basically, and Joan of Arc ain't gonna support him. Listen, if I was on VIP 17, if I was VIP 18, I'd be hunting you, boy. Harlequin. Anyway, very similar. So there's a different. But anyway, the good news is there's a different kind of variation on best practice. But the top 6, all the same. So the top 8. Oh, Helga Bing, and I forgot his name now. That second, you can see where I'm pointing. That secondary Cav Commander. He's done well. Very early days though. This is still day 1. We'll see how you last in a couple of weeks, man. We'll do another progress check. But it's good to see a variation, and yeah, best of luck with that. Look at number 9. This one again. So let me have a look. So Helga Bing and that 26125. Okay, different kingdoms. There you go. I'm gonna have to look at this secondary Cav Commander as soon as you go past number 10. I will look at him and just see that why, because that's a really old Cav Commander. Very rarely gets brought up these days. So anyway. Oh, anyway, so it's not exactly the same. I've spotted YSG paired up with ZL. There's no shame in that whatsoever. That's controversial though. No Herman Prime? Top 10 player? Wow. Let's go top 15, and then we're going to look at, as I promised, this Cav Commander here, and we already know about Helga Bing. I say we already know. I think I've already done a video on him. I'm pretty sure. So watch that video. Hint. Anyway, Boudica, Boudica Prime, and I can't remember his. Can't remember his name. I think it's a long name, to be fair, but there is a bit more variation as you get beyond top 10. From the top 1 position, there's a bit more variation, difference of opinion, but they haven't got that number 1 spot. But nah, not Boudica. Still can't believe that second Cav Commander. Okay, but fair enough. Congratulations, you're in 11th, which is no shame. 12th. Oh, there is William Wallace. So yeah, okay, and Helga Bing, and that secondary Cav Commander that I mentioned before, whose name I can't remember. Okay, that is a big stamp of approval. Let me just close this door. Big vote of confidence for William. So, okay. Let's move on to number 13. Wow. Yeah, this is definitely early days rankings. We'll look at, maybe I should have stuck to top 10. Mainly because I'm spotting Gorgo as a primary with Alexander as secondary. I'm thinking, even if he is VIP 18, I'm looking at his power to think I might be able to take him myself. You never know. Probably not, but I won't be that far off. But we'll see. Theories again, or opinions, are like the proverbial that I mentioned earlier. They may get thrashed. Let's look at 14. Yeah, normal status has been resumed. Established best practice, same commanders as most of the top 10. And 15. Yeah, this guy here is popping up a little bit too much. I think that's the same kingdom, isn't it? 2516 as before. Let's have a quick look. The other kingdoms, because sometimes people just follow the same theory. No, that's different. Coming in 1029. That's him. And he might have been in the top 10. I might have been imagining. No, there he is. No, it's actually 1029 again. I think there was 2 for 1029. I could be wrong. But anyway, let's look at him. This guy here. Let's have a look. I think I've got him. I think I do. Hopefully I won't go past him. William the First. Wow, look at that. He's going to have to be good. Direct damage of 1,500, otherwise known as skill damage. But it is area of effect. For the next 3 seconds, troops hit by this skill cannot benefit from buffs that increase skill damage. Wow. Wow. Okay, we will have a quick look at that. Let's do it now. That's quite interesting, that increased skill damage. I don't know if they all do, so let's quickly go through it. Increased skill damage. Additional damage. So that would wipe out this then? That's huge. So you get your 50% chance for this additional skill damage. No, you don't. No, you don't, because you're up against, I forgot his name already, that Cav commander that we've just seen. Ooh, that would be huge. It's guaranteed as well. And this is why you've got to have Huan Yu. So if you silence that guy so his active skill can't trigger, obviously that won't nullify any skill damage boost, but I understand why he's got it. Oof. Oof. Takes away 1,000 damage. 2 or more targets to 1,400 damage, not the 1,000. Or 0 again if it's up against him. Even this, after receiving the shield, 15% more skill damage? No. Oof. I was thinking about for the active skill, but if it means blanket everything, then that is huge. I ain't going to go into all of them because obviously this video will be very, very long and you can do your own check. I think pointers already been made about why they are possibly adding this. It's because he's effectively, as I say, a debuffer. Oof. Yeah, it includes direct damage and additional damage, but does not include ranged damage, which is basically, the siege thing. Oof. Direct damage and additional damage. So let me have a quick look at that again. I'm pretty sure the extra would have been classified as additional damage, extra damage. Yeah, additional damage factor right there. Oof. Huge. Huge. That's Smite anyway. I don't know what I'm looking at him for. This specifically was skill damage, so I apologize for wasting those few seconds. Okay. Yeah. So just thinking damage bonus. It's just got to be anything which is additional. It doesn't have to say additional. It is literally anything that's additional. See, this skill damage bonus would boost the active skill. So that's not additional, is it? It's just still the active skill. It's going to be this damage bonus here beyond the active skill, you'd think. Very, very interesting. I keep mentioning I'm going to have an interview with my top dude, RPG Ryzen. Be interesting to know why he's not considered William, or if he has tested. I mean, he doesn't need to, he's number 1. But from a matter of that power and resource, it would be interesting, I'm going to be honest with you, to find out why, if he would consider William, or if he's already considered William. Wow. Anyway, again, listen, I never used to be a Cav man. I've only just got Nevsky and Joan Prime. You know what I mean? I haven't even got them maxed. I'm still working on it. So I haven't really given single damage commanders that consideration. But this is why I'm doing this video and this deep dive, so we can all look at things with fresh eyes and think, oh, I can see how that might work. Yeah, I can. Anyway, Mark Speed, I'm taking you serious now, William. Got my full attention. Awesome. Okay, let's move on. Of course, as things move towards smite damage, At least, you know what I mean? I got one buffer, debuffer army. They do skill damage, but you know, it's token. And I've got my Luce, which is smite damage. But my main damage bringers are skill damage still. So yeah, William, very interesting. Anyway, move on. Charge of Hastings, 10% attack, march speed. Their troop deals 2% more, up to 10% more damage. It's just the token stuff. It's just, at the moment, it's token area of effect damage, but mainly that debuff of skill damage is huge. Wow. Anyway, Norman Conquest. If this commander's troop is on the map, cavalry units gain up to 20% attack. I know it says 10% in the, but you know what I'm doing. Further down, up to 20%. Obviously, if you haven't got it maximized, 10%. Whenever their troop launches a basic attack, it has a 10% chance to deal extra direct damage of up to 800, but it's only a 10%. If the target is surrounded, it takes even more direct damage. So the direct damage factor of 800. No. Number of surrounding troops times 40. I've got you. My maths is awful. Oh my gosh, that's 5 times 40. Anyway, more damage. Taking that much though. Excuse me. Scourge of the North. If the Hidden Bloodline skill hits exactly one target, this commander gains 10% defense for 3 seconds. Hidden Bloodline. Interesting. I've gone too far. I was thinking, it's possible to hit one target back in the day when it was first released, probably, but you'd probably use this specifically for that, the one with nullification of skill damage bonuses. So you'd want it to hit as many of those as possible, which means not really 1v1 commander, especially with the low damage. It's mostly going to be area of effects. But anyway, we read on. If this skill hits 2 or more targets, up to 5. Now, up to 5 nearby allied or friendly troops, including this commander's own troop, which it does not always say. We would think about, I was talking about William recently, the shield it gives and things like that. I think it does mention our own, but it says up to 3, including our own. Not necessarily our own, but probably our own. But this one specifically says, including this commander's own troop. Maybe that's too similar. Maybe that's more similar than what I'm thinking. Anyway, gain an extra 50 rage per second. Let me just, 50 rage per second and up to 20% defense for 3 seconds. Really not too bad. Just looking at the rage requirement trigger in red, 1000, just making sure it was 1000. And it's up to 5 nearby allied. Basically, the whole team in Sunset Canyon will get an extra 50 rage per second for 3 seconds whenever William's fighting, multiple armies. That's the main thing again. So this rage buff and this skill damage debuff. Oof, okay. Still on the fence a little bit. Because I know that Nevsky's absolutely amazing. That's who we would replace. He ain't going to replace Joan, would he? Oh my God, no. I've already done a video on Joan, but of course, it's always bad if you've got to leave somebody out, but Okay, so I've talked about the no expertise. Okay, anyway, it's interesting. Judgment Day. If this commander is on the map, and this is non-expertised, cavalry units gain 20% attack. Whenever their troop launches a basic attack, it has a 10% chance, which means 90% chance not. 10% chance to deal extra direct damage factor 800. Okay. If the target is surrounded, it takes even more direct damage, which is the number of surrounding troops, up to 5 times 80. Yeah, I think I've talked about that before, haven't I? Just double checking. If I'm looking for the word Judgment Day, it's here. That's what I'm thinking, isn't it? So I think that's a similar skill but different. But if it is expertised, 30% attack instead of 20, still a 10% chance, and the damage factor goes up to 1,000. Direct damage factor on a basic attack. That means every second. If the target is surrounded, the damage factor goes up to number of surrounding troops times 100. So obviously that'd be a maximum of 500. There's a 10% chance of 500 damage if you're surrounded by 5 troops every second with a 5-second cooldown. Yeah, he giveth and he taketh. Listen, this guy would have been amazing back in the day. He's still strong now. I don't know if he's amazing. I do like that though. I mean, that is... That's effectively Silence by another name. It's not as good as Silence. It's not really Silence by another name, because you still get the active skill off. It's just the additional skill damage. But it's not just... let me look at this again. Direct damage, additional damage. Yeah, I'm thinking, with like YSG, it says additional skill damage. With YSG, he's got skill damage bonus. It's got to be things like that as well, hasn't it? Or is that... Or do you get the bonus? Yeah, you can probably get the bonus only on the active skill. But again, anything additional to that won't count. Or is it this in addition to the... Or is this in addition to the active skill that won't count? Yeah, that's a deep... But I don't know is the answer. I don't know. I haven't had to think about this guy before. Not seriously. Let me just have a look at him again. I don't think he's got any health whatsoever, right? March speed reduction, attack bonus, march speed bonus, damage bonus, attack, direct damage, defense. Oh, he's got this defense bonus. That's nothing at all. Gosh. Yeah. Oh gosh. This is one of the worst glass cannons that I've ever seen. Anyway, let's go back to the video. I think we talked about William enough. Yeah. Gosh, I did not know the video was gonna go there. But I did know that my man here, RPG Risen, was going to be number 1. Anyway, so I suggest if you're in KVK, you do a similar analysis and break things down and see for yourself what you're going to aim for if you're very early game. Yeah, if you're very early game, what I would recommend, especially if you like season 1 and 2 KVK, YSG. Saw that my man before, he had YSG, served him very well. Richard's going to serve you well. I know it's not in this top 10, but maybe something like that, and make do with your Sun Tzus and things like that. More so than invest in somebody which ain't going to last the course, because then you're always going to be behind. And I know you already know, or what you'll find out is, by the time you've maximized a commander, you'll be going into the next season or the third season basically, and all of a sudden that commander's not half as good as somebody that's just come out. So what I'm really saying is, think about these end game kind of commanders, and over time even these aren't going to be relevant. And if necessary, if you can resist, just keep those gold heads if it's possible to invest in the commanders that I've mentioned, maybe the YSGs and potentially the Richards, or just save them, just invest in the YSG maybe. maximize him as soon as you can, and then save those gold heads for other commanders. These commanders, as they come out, especially the area of effect ones, the Huan Yus, the Scipios, the ZLs, Herman Prime, it's going to be very late in the game. Nevsky's and the Savuel, John Prime, Luce, yeah, all good. I mean, I still love my Constantine. These guys love their Constantine, but he's still early game. And maybe he's going to really rely on that kind of museum buffs and things like that. Huan Yu's not relying on his museum buff. It's only just come out. He hardly ever needs it. You know, I mean, he's awesome. Yeah, that's what I'd recommend. Don't get drawn. Listen, there's a lot of other people out there who are equally inexperienced in the game if you're just starting off, and they're making videos and they're encouraging people to make investments and stuff again, which is just a waste. And if you've got money, if you're paid to play, that doesn't really hurt you because you can optimize your game right throughout. But if you're free to play or a low spender, you've got to be tactical. You've got to be tactical, and you will, over the course of enjoying this game into the longer term, find that you haven't already burnt valuable resources on trash. I mean, there's going to be a lot of videos that I know this is going on way too long, this video. There's going to be a lot of commanders that I've never mentioned, which are trash, and there's some that I've invested in, and I just wish I didn't. I wish I was watching my videos back in the day. Gosh, man, Horror Gallery, Chuk Yong Yong. Follow the video, absolute trash. Even Cao Cao, very useful early game, but that's a gold key commander. Just, if I remember correctly, gold key commander. Just stick to the gold keys. No gold heads. Don't get drawn in. Oh my gosh, definite gold key commander. This guy's awesome. Stick to him as a gold key commander. No gold heads. Oh, ridiculously powerful beyond what some may think. This is going to be like early, late game. Aethelflaed wasn't that maybe a year ago? I still seen Aethelflaed. Maybe instead of Mulan or something like that. You know what I mean? So she still was representing. She's an amazing debuffer, basically. Yeah. Yusong Ye, just awesome. Ridiculously powerful. Area of effect 5. I think it's 5 targets it touches, yeah, and these ridiculous damage bonuses, skill damage bonuses. Yes, he's Archer, and yes, early game people are going to be incentivized to have to maximize an Archer commander. I'm going to show you that Archer commander, and they're going to be hunting down Archers and area effects commanders, and that's going to be a little bit annoying, maybe even a little bit expensive. But you can't have everything in it. That's why you got to be infantry at the end of the day. But yeah, I just love it. YSG regardless, and can't win everything really, can you? You can't have everything your own way. Goodness sake. Yeah, as I say, for the spenders, one of the ways they can spend is to maximize this guy at a relatively low cost. You know what I mean? So it's still gonna be expensive, but relatively low, and I think that leads a lot of people on that 1v1 single damage commander cavalry love affair. And I think free to play, if you got to be more selective, you're probably thinking like me, as I did when I was free to play, of what would have been Richard back at the day. Then Richard Alex combo served me really well. And to be fair, I don't like Alex now because I got better commanders. But for a long time, you know what I mean, he was the Don. You can pair him up with a lot of people and he'll still perform. I've got better commanders, as I said, I believe anyway. I prefer pair him up with a Luce. It's only going to help your active skill damage, you know what I mean? So, not awful choice to choose the Season 1, Season 2, Richard and Alexander the Great. I do still like YSG a lot. I know you're going to be limited on your golden heads, all things considered. I say this guy can pair up as your garrison. I'm pretty sure that green emblem on him just shows him as my garrison somehow. So he must be paired up with Zenobia. Don't overly worry about your garrisons. The best garrison strategy is not to be rallied, basically. Stay on Alliance territory and just be smart. And when you go to bed, just teleport back and save those teleports. That type of thing, put your shield on. You'll get these shields just by playing the game. And that's for about 8 hours, so, you know, just be on it and be prepared. I think this video is long enough anyway, so I hope you found that useful. Please like, subscribe. Daddy Steve, and I'm out.